Performing their 2012 program, Boundaries, Drum Corps International is proud to present the Colts.
Okay, welcome to summer. We are here. Okay, so this is what you signed up for. The work begins. This is the place where it's safe to figure out who you're going to be as you grow up. You're not having to impress mom and dad. You're not having to do it the way the teachers expect. Here's my favorite. You don't have to do it in school the way your older brother or sister did. You're out of all that. You can be who you want to be here. Just, how confident can you be? How much of a risk taker can you be? Can you try new things? Can you be comfortable being uncomfortable? Nobody's impressed if you're real excited when it's really exciting. These are easy. The highs are high. The drum corps got a lot of highs. But you know what? Drum corps got sometimes that just suck too. Because 80 days from now, you can't decide this anymore because it's done. We're done in 80 days. We're just starting now and it's almost over. Okay? So that's the choice you gotta make. Today you look in the mirror, every morning you look in the mirror and say, what am I gonna be today? If you get through that day that you can't possibly get through, you're gonna be successful. The show is supposed to be challenging, physically it's supposed to be challenging, emotionally it's supposed to be challenging. You chose to do this instead of sit home where it's safe and happy and quiet and comfortable. You chose to be sitting here. For whatever insane reason you decided to come here, you're here. I'll ask you to remember two things. It's not supposed to be easy. You wanted to do this. So congratulations, you made it. Make sure you do something with it. It's all yours.
Who are the Colts? We happen to use brass instruments, we happen to march around a field, we happen to spin flags and rifles and sabers, we happen to dance, we happen to play drums really, really well, but it has very little to do with the motion. It has to do with the outcome, which is taking these incredibly motivated young people and putting them in an environment where together they can have the synergy that is just beyond reproach. It's the most exciting, most fulfilling, most motivationally excellent and most difficult thing most of these folks have ever done. The common bond that makes the Colts, and ultimately what makes the Colts, is a common bond, which is let's do whatever we can do together to be the most incredible experience for these young people and for the community and for the drum corps activities we can possibly be. And do it with class, do it with dignity, and do it always for the right reasons and do it the right way.
I had never really done color guard before I started Teal in 2010. I'd done college marching band, which is very much not what goes on that field. And so that was really hard, kicked my butt, cried the whole way through everything. And then I very unexpectedly lost my dad in the middle of the tour. And I left for 5 days and I came back knowing that up until then that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. So these were the people that were going to get me through the rest of it and get me through this hard time. And I went back the next year and I had my challenging days on tour, but these are the kind of people that really help you out and get you through that kind of thing.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. The Colts is the place that I want to be. I choose to be here because this is the best place to play. This is the best people to be with. It really is the best drum corps experience anyone could have.
Once you get to the end of the summer and you say, okay, I want some time off, I want to be on my own, I want to do stuff for me, and then you get around to November when you do banquet, and you see everyone again, and you remember how much fun you had and all the good times that you had together and how much you miss everyone. That's when it starts sinking in again, is okay, you get the itch of, I want to get back on tour, I want to get back out, I want to perform again, I want to learn some new work, some new music. And you start getting that feeling again that I just need to be in front of people, I need to be with my family again.
Well, my main reason for being in drum corps is to get better, but in the process you also meet a bunch of really cool people and you learn a lot, like responsibility and leadership and all these different sort of things.
It's like the best kind of adult sleepover camp you could ever have, plus you're getting stronger, you're getting better at whatever it is you do, and making friends. I've gotten to make friends from Kansas, from Japan, from places I would never ever go, because I'm from South Florida, Florida girl, unless I did drum corps, and got to meet all these people.
What a lot of the kids are learning really for the first time too is that quite often only the things that are really difficult are the ones that are really worthwhile. Because this is not easy. Right. It's not supposed to be. But boy, the payoff is amazing. First time 6, 8, 10,000 people stand up and scream for you and throw babies and small appliances your way. And you know you had to work for that. I mean, that's a pretty powerful experience. And that carries with them too. The first time they get the job out in the real world, they know that if they work real hard, sometimes you got to work real hard for a long time before anybody notices. But the payoff's pretty amazing.
There's the phrase, for those that know, no explanation is needed. For those that don't, no explanation is possible.
I would explain drum corps as is the equivalent to the NFL of the marching arts.
Usually when I'm trying to explain what drum and bugle corps is to someone who doesn't know what drum corps is, I usually start with the analogy that it's like if the military, Broadway, and a really, really good marching band all had a baby, it would be that.
A drum and bugle corps, for the uninitiated, is very much like a marching band in terms of creating music out on a field, and you see people marching around in uniforms with flags and drums and musical instruments. But unlike a marching band, drum and bugle corps are primarily a competitive-based activity rather than an educationally based activity. They're privately sponsored, private fundraising for the groups that tour nationally, and generally at this point are an age group from 16 to 22 years old for the performers.
The drum corps experience is one of those experiences in life that when a young person interacts with it, their life changes. It's life-changing.
For me, drum corps has always been an opportunity to give to young people an opportunity to learn life lessons, what I call life lessons, work ethic, teamwork, how to lose, how to win, how to make choices in life.
Well, Drum Corps International, DCI as it's commonly referred to, was formed by competing corps that came together looking for their common good back in 1972. And from that point forward, it's grown to be really the organizer of the major leagues of marching music.
Drum Corps International is an association of about 45 drum corps, and the Colts have a very long-standing tradition in that association and have been contributors traveling to the east and through the Midwest and South and to California to make sure that drum corps stays on the map.
It's an industry that you tell people you belong to drum and bugle corps, but they don't know what you're talking about. But then you'll tell somebody, my kid marches with the Cavaliers, and they know who that is. My kid marches in the Colts, and they know who that is. So it's a good late secret, but a lot of people do know about it and enjoy it.
Well, drum corps has gotten a lot more sophisticated as the years go on with expenses and just the logistics involved. And the marching members are extraordinary. Each year they raise the level of performance.
We're really expanding as we discover that there are more and more people really excited about what this is we do, that we represent, which is ultimately excellence in music and excellence in competition, excellence in performance, and doing amazing things for excellent kids.
So the kids nowadays are more talented than used to be back in the days when I marched, and they're more professional kids coming from college bands. And that's the reason why drum corps now is so much more entertaining and better for the fans and for the members.
What we're trying to do at Drum Corps International, and I know the Colts organization are as well, is just trying to keep up with that and to continue to provide a great stage for those fantastic performers that keep coming.
That's why I do it. That's why I come back every year. It's always different because the young people are always different, and it's a different experience every time around based upon those folks.
Tonight, first and foremost, you're going to see people marching around, and you're going to see things flying in the air, and you're going to hear some great musicianship and brass and percussion. But what you're really going to witness is what it takes to be great at what you choose to be great at. And 230 young people, thanks to your support, get this life-changing experience called the Colts organization between the Colts and the Colt Cadets. And they'll never, ever be able to go back to where they came from. They learn things here that in most cases they never learn anywhere else. It's not about what you get for working hard, it's about working hard because it's the right thing to do. You know, if you get a chance to be great at something, be great at something. Not because the judge is going to give you a score, although I'm here to tell you that based on my experience watching the Colts and the Colt Cadets, the scoring thing is going to be kind of fun this year, I think. I think you're going to agree, but that's not what it's about. What it's about is 14-hour day rehearsals with the Colts starting Memorial Day because it's fun to be really, really good at something.
What's the hardest part of my day? It's usually,
What would you say would be the hardest part of your day?
The hardest part of my day.
What would you say is the most difficult part of your day?
Difficult part of my day?
Waking up, yeah.
Would be waking up.
Waking up.
Waking up is definitely the hardest part of the day.
It's the worst.
Waking up is pretty tough after a really long day of drum corps and pushing all these instruments around.
Like, you wake up and I always feel like I've just went to bed.
You have to will yourself to roll out of bed. You know you want to go back to sleep, but you got to get up and make every day better than the day before.
We'll see you at the end of the block.
All right. Score 10. Hut. Dress center, dress. All right, youths, you guys can push down towards the seconds, give the tubas a little bit more room. Let's go, man. Ready, front. How's everybody's enchilada sitting? Oh, yeah.
It's already moving.
I'm thinking God is not this. All right, I'll ask you guys the same question in 30 minutes. All right, knees up. End of the summer, you'll understand that this is the most real your life will ever get.
Seriously.
You will go through every emotion known, man. Okay? And sometimes all at the same time. And then you'll be like, life is so easy and simple right now.
You're gonna
you
feel
get
like...
up, you eat, you grab your horn, you go play shit, you eat some more. You play,
Dang you and your big feet early.
You play some more, you eat some more, you play some more, you go to bed, do the same thing every day. Then you go home and you're sitting on the couch, you're like, when does this start? Where are we going?
Where's the food flying?
How long do I have to go to the bathroom?
You'll totally draw people from in the shower because you're like, do I have enough time?
Showers are very lonely.
We We practice all the time, and when we're not practicing, we're eating or sleeping, or on the bus. All we ever do is practice.
Well, you're dealing with extraordinary people to do the whole summer like this. I mean, you have to think about it. You give up a job, expect an income. You give up boyfriend, girlfriend. You put your career aside. You leave family aside, and you totally immerse yourself into this. And that requires extraordinary human beings.
Typical day without a show consists of 3 blocks between 3 and 4 hours long, so we could be rehearsing anywhere from 9 to 12 hours.
The staff is very specific, and they're driven on trying to make sure that every hair is put in place, not only musically, but each foot placement, each step size, each flag twirl, everything. And so it's that quest of excellence. And because of that, these young people stay out in the sun 12 hours a day. They will work, and put in time that I've never seen any other. I can't compare it to anything.
By definition, they don't come here to do what they already know how to do. We did that yesterday. So today, we're teaching them something they can't do.
You can't compare it to the work ethic of a football team. You can't compare it to the work ethic of any other job training that you'll ever have. The work ethic of a drum and bugle corps is off the hook.
Probably just right after our final run through of the day, just watching the kids walk off the field just exhausted. It's a great feeling knowing that you're watching a ton of people give it their all for no other reason than they want to be good.
I remember we had a rehearsal day once in the middle of North Carolina, a small little town. I don't think I could probably ever find it again. But we just had a one-day stopover on the way up the East Coast, and a friend of mine was a guidance counselor there that I met years ago at a school, at college. And we set up a one-day stay, and it was just miserably hot that day, and there wasn't a bit of breeze of any kind, and it was, you sweat in the shower. It was one of those days. The football coach came out during rehearsal. We were using the field, and of course, at first, the football coach wanted to know who was on his grass, which is what football coaches do, which, we respect that certainly as well. And I got the chance to talk to him a little bit and told him about what this was. He sat down and watched rehearsal for about 15 or 20 minutes. He left. I thought, well, great. Okay, I'm glad he got a chance to see us. He came back about half an hour later. He said, I hope it's okay. I just initiated the phone tree for my football team, and they're all going to come down here and watch you guys work, and I'm never going to hear them whine ever again about how hard practice is. And his football team sat in the stands for 3 hours that afternoon and watched the Colts rehearse in North Carolina and preached to his kids about if they worked this hard, they'd win football state championships every year.
I think it's time we acknowledge what's holding us back. Individuals is the word of like the past 2 weeks, I guess you could say. Individuals are holding the Corps back. Don't be that individual. Know that we're all here for each other, and if you need help on a specific portion of your show, ask. We are more than willing to help you, if that makes sense. Dismissed.
If you have a problem with a staff member telling you to get off the field, then you can go the hell home. Body language says everything. You're hurting people on this field. Like, it's not fun. It's not funny anymore. Check the bag.
I think more important are the mental challenges, the emotional challenges, that doubt that creeps in sometimes of, can I do this? It's difficult. It takes everything you have all day long. Day 3 is make or break for a lot of people, and some people go home after that 3rd day of every day.
As a young person and being a first-year member of a drum corps, you're bombarded with how to load the bus. You're bombarded with, where should I be in the food line? Where do I put my gear? I mean, it's overwhelming.
And we really do warn the parents, and we really ask for their trust, that there's going to be a day where your son or daughter is going to call and say, you know what, I can't do this, come get me, I'm going to drop out, it's too hard. And at that moment, mom and dad, you have to trust us, because no young person is going to fail here. But on the way to being excellent, they're going to hit some walls, and that's in fact what you're signing up for. So pretend that conversation didn't happen, put it off for a couple of days, ask them to stick around for one more day, and I guarantee you that if you support us and help keep them here during the biggest challenge, in a week they're going to pretend, they're not even pretend, they're going to be convinced they never had that conversation with you.
We're doing the Colts fundraiser car wash. It's something we do every year, where we basically send a bunch of people out into the community and we do a free car wash that accepts donations to try to fund our year.
Taking a day off from rehearsal is the best. It's like we need to be rehearsing on a nice day, but it's fun not to rehearse. But I guarantee tomorrow we're gonna get our asses kicked.
It's a great feeling to not have to rehearse, but at the same time, you have that thought in the back of your mind, like, I should be doing something productive, and making money for the Corps is definitely productive, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to get to know more people that you haven't had time to get to know, and spend time and kind of joke around and have a relaxed environment.
I really think it's relaxing. It's nice because you can choose the group you're with. So this year, me and my friend Hillary really tried to branch out and be with people that weren't usually on a car wash, because usually we stick with the color guard. And we wanted to branch out, so now we have 2 trumpets, a mellophone, color guard members, and we have 2 trumpets from the Oh my God! I think! Oh, we keep missing with the one. Let her talk!
I just want to get on the road and be moving all the time, not rehearsing all day, every day.
You need to be moving your bodies. All the way through boundaries. Think about what we've done in the past few days. Here we go. Okay. And 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and move your feet. Pick your feet up off the ground.
I remember my first show, Appleton, Wisconsin, in 1982. Even then, I had such a sense of accomplishment putting that uniform on for the very first time. I felt like I'd actually made it.
The very first time that you put on a uniform, and I had this happen to me my rookie year marching in 1980 in the Colts. It's two parts. One is there's an incredible sense of pride that you have made it to this point in your season or in your experience because you come in knowing nothing. And depending on how long you've been attending rehearsals, the first time you put on that uniform is the first time that you feel like, I'm really doing this. I'm really involved. I'm going to go out there. I'm part of this. That was my goal. That's my dream. So that's a wonderful experience, and it's great. Sends shivers up and down your body, you know.
It really hits them the first time they're putting that uniform on in public. And the first time they hear one of the leaders in the Corps say, put them on, that's when you can just see the chills going up their spine. It kind of shows up in their eyes when you look real close.
I'm excited. They're ready to perform. They're definitely ready. I can tell it, I can hear it, I can see it. It's going to be great. It's going to be the first day we're putting on the Reds. It's one of those days these new guys are never going to forget.
I'd made the first step. I'd made it into drum corps. I get to do this activity for the whole summer.
When they strap on, we call it their Superman suit. They put on that Superman costume. They feel it's almost like graduating. It's a moment of arriving, that you know you belong. You are finally a member of the Colts Drum and Bugle Corps, which is to that member, it's a very special moment.
We have so much pride in this uniform. We don't let it touch the ground. We don't let anything happen to it. The people that are allowed to wear these uniforms have been briefed where this is a sacred uniform, and we treat it as such. Yeah, man, putting them on for your first time.
I feel, when I put it on, I feel like I'm Superman. You know, I feel invincible, that this is me and these are my peers, and we are indestructible. And every time that suit goes on, I know that we're going to conquer the world, and no one can stand in our way.
They understand that not only are they representing themselves, their family, and their current brethren in the red team, in the Colts, they're also representing 49 years of literally 3,000 people that wore the uniform before them. And they know that the context of that is really incredible. And they know how special it is and what an honor it is to be able to put on the Reds.
The other part is, it's scary. First experience I ever had, first show that I ever marched, I'm in Geneseo, Illinois in 1980, and it's the first time I put the uniform on, and we go out and perform. But I'm supposed to come in behind a group of people who all year long I've seen them, oh, I know what color t-shirt they're wearing, I know what color, I know what their hair looks like, I know what that, and suddenly everyone looks the same, and I had no idea where I was going. So there's that moment of panic where you realize, oh, I really do have to pay attention to more than just the people around me.
When the kids say, put on the Reds, that means let's put on the uniform, it's time to go to the show. The Reds in general just come from the history of the Colts, going back to when we first started switching over from the Western theme into the more modern look, if you will, with the brighter colors, just like the rest of the activity is done. We've had a common theme of a prominent red color in most of our uniforms now, going back 25, 30 years. So the red team really has become, it started out as being the color of the uniform, but now it's become describing the culture of the Colts, which is, this is an incredibly supportive family. We're here for each other. When you're part of the red team, you're part of a family for life. And whether you spend one summer here, one weekend here, or 15 years in the Colt cadets through the Colts, everybody's a member of and a part of the red team, and they take that with them forever.
The life changes not just as a performer, but as a human being in terms of the spirit and the drive and the energy, the work ethic, and all of those things that you learn. And putting all those pieces together into a performance that dazzles audiences is pretty extraordinary.
This summer, thousands of talented young men and women from all over the world took an opportunity of a lifetime to sharpen their musical skills and push themselves to the next level of greatness.
Look at me like champions right now. Look at each other like champions right now. When you walk on that field, folks, you're important.
They sacrificed their personal comforts and left their families and day-to-day lives behind to embark on one of the most incredible journeys the drum corps experience.
You're the Colts. You're the red team. You show those people with no fear. No fear. You show those people you're here and you mean business.
Still work this summer for thousands of hours to perfect a show full of beautiful music, dynamic movement, and vivid color. They do this because they love to perform, and you, the audience, have the privilege of sharing that journey with them tonight.
I talked to you about boundaries last night. If you didn't get it, see me personally. You have boundaries to break today. You have boundaries to break tomorrow, next week, and all the way through the end of the year. And it starts today.
You've got 15 minutes. 15 minutes on that field to give it your all. 15 minutes.
On behalf of the participating corps that produce these energetic programs, we encourage you to get back the emotion and excitement you see on the field at any time during the show. So jump up, applaud, and cheer as loud as you can. Let these performers know how incredible they are.
It's your job to break that boundary and get these people on their feet. You know what it looks like when they're standing up at the end of the show. Now get it. No fear. Right? Yes?
Yes! I once did a study with Indiana University. I had a guy connect a heart monitor on one of the tenor drummers, and he monitored all the vital signs of this young person all the way through a drum and bugle corps show. And the beats per minute, how much they're running, and they're lugging this tenor drum, this quad around the field. And when he analyzed the data that he had got from this experience, he said the only thing that he could even equate it to was that of a marathon runner. You know, because it was just off the charts what these young people were doing.
In 1993, they would say, get some, get some, get some. They would yell, see ya, to the corps coming off the field. It started at the first show, because the corps coming off the field would never see them again. It's not about scores. No, it's not. But they went from 20th to 12th, and they gained the respect of the entire DCI community in one season. And it starts now. Are you ready?
There's nothing more dangerous than a group of people. Everything to gain is nothing to lose. So let's be those people and get some! Get some! Get some!
Drumcore International is proud to present Colts.
And so much leads up to that. You have to memorize the music, you have to do the footwork, you have to do choreography, you have to do the drill, you have to know the tempos and cadence, and there's just so many elements that is going through this wonderful computer that we call our mind.
when you look at the audience and how many people are out there waiting for these kids to come out here and perform at the level they do, and then when they react, there's no more reward than that for the performers that are out on the field. That experience alone elevates an average young person and makes them a spectacular person.
You have no control over what's coming. So you may run into a period of time where you've scheduled, we're going to do our changes now. It's the middle of the summer, we know what's working in our show, we know what's not, and you've scheduled 3 days with no performances, and you're going to change an entire piece or change a few drill sets here and there, and you get thunderstorms.
Weather is a constant accompaniment to every day and all of our plans and our progress. We're staying usually in a fairly limited amount of space. The gym, some classrooms, the locker rooms, but most of everything we do is geared to be outside. So it really is real difficult to get anything done inside when it rains.
Weather is always factored into, I guess, drum corps. And creating wonderful drum corps moments. I can remember in Whitewater, Wisconsin, that this clouds opening up and this downpour on the Colts, you know, and because of the impending doom of this storm coming, and you could, you know, it's that kind of summer where you can smell the rain coming in the air, and as it gets closer, and you know, you can feel the excitement in the crowd, and everybody's sitting in the stands not knowing if they should run for cover or stay and watch. And that type of excitement was one of the most thrilling moments that I've ever experienced in Drum and Bugle Corps.
The challenges of overcoming heat, dehydration, that sort of a thing, can be very real.
Yeah, I'm not excited for the weather this summer. Yeah, it's the second day and it's already this hot.
This is the hottest move-ins weekend that I've ever been in. Oh wait, we had 7 tornadoes and it was raining, it was cold, but this one, it being 90 some degrees already, is oh man, I hope this isn't a precursor, because every once in a while you can actually smell yourself burning, and that's awful.
It's about making sure that the kids are getting enough water and that they're in a good mindset to do rehearsal. So on days like today and yesterday, when it was in the mid-90s, we try and make sure that they get water at intervals of 10 minutes. No matter what we're doing, we will stop and make sure that they get water. They're dealing with a lot of extreme conditions, especially in the South where we are. Their uniform is a lot of dark colors, and on a day like today when we're going to get to about 90, they'll probably be feeling 100, maybe 110 in uniform.
You got to run in the heat, you got to eat in the heat. You just got to be used to getting hot so your body can function normally when it gets hot out, otherwise you'll shut down.
For the rookies this year, I definitely say they need to drink a lot more water and learn how to throw the mental switch. It's kind of an interesting aspect when you learn how to throw that switch in your mind, to just kind of take a rehearsal time and own it instead of letting it own you.
We used to nickname different parts of the weather. We called the wind Francois. I think the sun was called Javier. We weren't allowed to complain, so we made up codes about different stuff. So we would curse Francois, and the staff really didn't catch on until a few years after Francois was invented. My God, the heat. There's been shows that have been delayed because people's shoes would melt to the field because the AstroTurf would be so hot.
And we've got a picture on our website in the archive somewhere where there's a thermometer on the edge of an AstroTurf field that's reading 160 because it didn't have any air.
Drum corps have gotten very good at taking care of the members, whether it's regular water breaks. You know, if it's over 100 degrees out, if you're not cutting every 10 minutes, then if you're thirsty already, you're already dehydrated. So we always tell the kids, listen, if you're not raising your hand to go to the restroom about every half an hour, you're not drinking enough water.
When we start going full-time during the summer, we do have a fairly significant crop, if you will, of injuries.
I sprained my MCL, so rolled off a curb and my knee went that way.
Now what we try to do is kind of ramp up slowly as if we were doing preseason, because we really are. As a football team would start out slow and do a lot of stretching and a lot of building block, making sure we're in shape before we start running into each other. Because there's not a teenager in the world that comes in thinking they're vulnerable in the least or have any bit of weakness in their body, because they've never had this kind of challenge before. But when you got 150 all on the first string, all rehearsing every day, all day, you're bound to have a percentage. It looks like a war zone sometimes when there are a dozen kids sitting out.
Currently, we experience a few kids, they fall over and they sprain their ankles, but we take good care of them, and it's just one of those things you got a baby for a few weeks and just get ready for tour.
They vary, and the type of injury changes throughout the course of the summer. Early on, when we come in probably not as much in shape as we should have, a lot of muscle pulls, a lot of lower body, lower extremity type of things, strains in the knees, swelling in the joints, that kind of thing, that really just comes from not being as physically in shape as what you really needed to be to start. As we progress through the summer, we have less and less injuries, but the ones we have tend to be perhaps a little more serious, because they tend to be the nagging injury that hasn't ever completely cleared up.
What's really nice about this activity is what I call the big brother, big sister that marched the year before, and they take under their wing some of these young people. And that sense of caring and that sense of family that happens is one of the truly wonderful things that still exists in the activity today.
Hey there, my name is JJ Boyd. I am one of the van drivers for the Red Team. I come from Long Island, New York, and started driving about 2 weeks ago. And I'm having a great time. It's a lot of fun to be here. The kids are great, the staff is wonderful, and the show this year is called Boundaries. You try to break boundaries, you come across boundaries, you get through boundaries, and it's just a very interesting show to watch over the last 2 weeks of watching these kids work so hard and put so much into it. It's a lot of fun being on the outside looking in and just seeing how dedicated these kids are. It's what keeps me coming back, because if it wasn't for the kids, I mean, really, I wouldn't be here. It's just fun to watch as they learn.
In the bus industry, there's a kind of a joke that's not at all funny, which is there are two kinds of buses: the ones that are broken down and the ones that will. One of the things that we preach constantly, because it really is a philosophical way of life that leads to success, as we talk about constantly, way beyond just one summer and one football field. But there's a huge difference between a problem and an inconvenience. So the last, I don't know if you even noticed, but in Lafayette, Louisiana, the truck driver we had didn't fit in real well. He decided to take a powder and head home because he wasn't feeling good. He was tired and all that. And that's fine. So I drove the truck the last 4 days. I really do enjoy driving the semi. It's kind of weird that way, but it screws up my day job. But you guys probably didn't even notice when we first pulled in here, the truck that I was driving got here about 2.5 hours after you guys did. But what happened, we're driving in this little town, Highway 9 in northwestern Alabama, and all of a sudden the truck just kind of went, and just rumbled a little bit, like, okay, that's weird, and then wham, just shut down, like the brakes went, that was it. There was no moving it. Well, and it's like, oh God, what happened? So it's sideways, I didn't use the word, it's sideways across one of the 2 lanes. It's like 4:45 in the morning, and I called a couple of repair places and nobody answers because of course it's 4:45 in the morning. And ultimately what our approach to things is this is all an inconvenience. It's not a problem. We're going to get where we're going. We haven't missed a show in 49 years, no matter what's happened. And we won't in the future. We'll figure it out. I tell you, the folks that are running the road, whether it be the director or the tour director or the lead bus driver, they've got to be incredibly effective problem solvers. They got to be incredibly creative, and they got to have an amazing sense of humor and perspective. I figured out how the flashes are on. It's 2 lanes worth of highway. It's a small town. Nobody's going real fast. So I just put my head down on the steering wheel and went to sleep. About an hour and a half goes by. Bang, bang, bang. The deputy sheriff. What are you doing here? My truck broke. Can you help me find something? So this guy with no teeth shows up about 7. Well, what had happened? And if one of you did it, I know you won't admit it anyway, but I think it was at a truck stop. Somebody picked up a bath towel from laying around because it obviously came from the truck. And sometime over that next 6 hours, it wiggled loose and it fell down, wrapped around the drive shaft, going, how many RPM? 1800 at least, maybe more. And in the process of spinning around, just like a knife through butter, cut through both airlines. It was just like he took a knife on the airlines. They were just gone. Well, so the air goes shh, instead of to the trailer. So a safety thing, which is cool, when the trailer doesn't have any brakes, it stops. And it stopped, like right now. So Mr. Seymour, whatever, guy with no teeth, came out and said, well, I can fix this for you. He got his knife out, cut out a couple of pieces so he knew what size. Turned to the cop and he said, mind if I fix it here? And the cop says, well, guess it hadn't hurt anything yet. Now, we have a show tomorrow night, and they don't care if we had a broken bus. And we had a night in Niagara Falls, so sleep real fast, because you ain't going to get any when you get there. Okay? Welcome to the tour. If this is your first tour, this is called Drum Corps. And if it weren't for Plan B, there'd be no plan at all. So with that, have a good time till midnight. We'll see you back here. Don't be late, because we're not sure who's on what bus. We don't want to lose you. All right? Cool? Yeah. Cool. All right, we'll see you. Chinese food! The travel is important. We take time to, if we're within a couple of hours of Niagara Falls, we're going to take some time out of rehearsal. We're going to go see Niagara Falls, maybe even for a couple of hours. Those kids might not ever get a chance to see Niagara Falls. I still hear from members from '95 when we did an evening there when some said we should have been rehearsing. So maybe it would have been 8th instead of 9th. Did that really make a difference, or was it the experience in total?
Being an age out these last couple days, it's definitely been weird trying to figure out how my approach is going to be. Do I hype the fact that I have 3 days left? Do I not think about it? And I've kind of been taking the same approach that I've taken all season, is today's just another day. Wake up, go out and do my job, and do it to the best of my ability, and hopefully at the end, I'll wake up and then I won't have drum corps the next day. Just trying not to get too caught up, I guess, in counting the days down.
We had a good rehearsal today, didn't we? Yes. We had a good run, didn't we? Yes. There's one thing I need you to go out and do, is get that audience on our side. Let them propel us to where we want to be. Make them stand up and enjoy every second of it. Have a great time and enjoy these last few moments with each other, because they are surely slipping away.
Because they're passionate and they're driven, and sometimes it's because they have great friends, sometimes it's because they realize it might be their last opportunity. Perhaps they're 20, 21 years old, they're going to be finishing college, and they want to have that experience while they still can, because there is an age cutoff limit in the Drum and Bugle Corps activity. So once you turn 22 during the course of a summer, a competitive season, that's it. You can't be involved in the activity anymore.
Every year we get calls and letters from parents saying, I don't know what you did with my kid, but I sent you a boy and you sent me back a young man in 3 months. How did you do that? So we didn't do it. We gave him an opportunity to figure out who he wanted to be. And we made it possible for him to be successful at it.
Come over here quick and noisy. All right, I hope that one felt good to you. That's the one in the bag before we do this last push, this last week. It's all yours, folks. But you lit that place up tonight. There was energy. It got up there. The crowd was digging it. And I hope you were digging it. It was good stuff.
The young people that participate in this activity today, and even back then, are special human beings. They're the enlightened ones who really are on a quest for excellence. It's, you know, I say this sometimes to the students, but it's one of those things that it's not good to just try and do your best. The real prize lies in going beyond what you think you can do. And that is a treasure. Once you obtain something like that, you feel so good about yourself. Your self-esteem, everything about you changes.
Check it out. Please take a second and think about all the work we've put in the past week to 2 weeks. It's got to show up tonight.
On our walk back to equipment, let's remain a little quieter than normal, okay? Let's get focused. Let's pick up that equipment. Let's get ready to go.
We've never won the Drum Corps International Championships. So far we failed every year. And if you ask general society, and yet there hasn't been a year we've ever placed anywhere that wasn't a tremendous success, because it was all about what we were doing in the process of competing. It wasn't about competing.
remember the day I aged out, last performance, we went out there, put on what we thought was, a pretty good show, and we were all very excited, and we had a goal, a certain placement goal or a scoring goal in mind, and expectations had been set, realistically or not, they had been set, and we did not necessarily meet the expectation, and I came off the field, and you're supposed to be all your military bearing, and you're supposed to be completely under control, and you come off the field and they say, Corps 10 Hut, and they call you to attention for the last time, and they say something and then they tell you, go ahead and relax. And you relax, and there's this feeling of euphoria, that everybody's hugging each other and crying and laughing and just, wow, that was awesome. And then the Corps kind of dissipates, it breaks up, and everybody goes off and kind of does their own little decompression, if you will. And my decompression was to walk over to a fence underneath the stadium at Grant Field at Georgia Tech and just absolutely lose it. I was weeping. We didn't finish where we wanted to, and that was a disappointment. But more so than that, it was the realization that I don't get to do this again. And so it's really, really, for those of us who have completely emotionally invested into the activity, it's really hard. But there's also that feeling of pride, like I'm one of the few who have done this.
It's been scary, but it's worth it in the end. Like, it's a lot of hard work. Dedication has a lot to do with it, and I wanted to stick it out. It's hard to do, but like, this here is why it's all worth it. Like, stepping off that stadium after that show is why I did this, why I stuck it through, why I feel so accomplished right now.
Drum Corps International Finals Week at Lucas Oil Stadium, Friday night, semifinals. All the age outs from every Corps that's participating in the finals week sends their age outs out on the field. Finality of, boy, this is my last year that I can do any of this stuff. And it's the only thing at that age that they're too old to do. But it's, in so many cases, the most meaningful thing they've done. But it's a real celebration.
I think for someone who's marched for a few years, the significance is you've accomplished something in your life. It's also, to me, it was like you're no longer a kid anymore.
Warning one more time together, and then real life is going to intrude on this thing called the Colts. So we're still here enjoying this, but real soon now, it's going to be done. And when it's done forever. This moment that you can hang on to for about another 90 minutes, please absolutely treasure every bit of this, because you've earned the right to feel incredible right now, sitting amongst this. Everybody that's here is here for a reason. Some destiny intervened, something happened, you returned a phone call, whatever it was, you're here under the shade tree. So thank you for being here. Thanks for following your destiny. Thanks for trusting yourself. Thanks for what you contributed to make this the most incredible season could have possibly been. It's amazing. We want to hear from, we got some amazing people that did their last day on Earth in drum corps yesterday with the Colts, and I have them doing it today right now. Hey, Jeff, would you please come up here?
It's been an experience that has definitely changed my life, and I couldn't ask for a better family to share that with than.
It's really just thanks. I just want to say thanks for the experience. I mean, it's been one crazy year. I'm really happy I decided to do it. My last possible chance I can. And I just want to thank you all for making it a memorable experience.
I want you to inspire each other. Don't get frustrated when times get hard. You need to be there for each other. You need to pull each other up when you fall down.
And when you go home and no one understands what you did for the past 3 months, why would you do this? You do this. And 900 miles away in Alabama, I know I have a family in Dubuque, Iowa, or from all around, wherever we are, that this connects me to all of you.
I'm gonna miss you a lot, so just thanks for a great summer. I really enjoyed it. So
These 3 years, 2 here, 1 in the Colt Cadets, part of my life, the most excellent 3 years I've ever had.
Make your parents be inspired by you because they're watching who you're turning into as you go through your life. Inspire someone older than you. You can do it.
there's something about my mom that a lot of you do know. She's an alumni, and she marched before we got triangles. So Mom, I'd like to give you your triangles.
And you really, really have turned some heads with those alums, what you did with the show, with the drum corps, what you did with their legacy. In 90 minutes, you are now part of the Colts legacy. You were part of that 50th anniversary, 50-year history.
Because I think that to any group that has lasted 50 years in this activity and surviving the challenges of everything that's been presented to them over the years, it just strikes me as amazing. That's an accomplishment. Few things last 50 years. Businesses, we live in a society of instant gratification, fast food, video games where, you hit this button, that happens. This is a whole different thing. This is an organization, something that lives and breathes, that's complex, that has people, that has personalities, that becomes a family of constant giving. And they have provided, the Colts have provided for many years, for 50 years, this place of family, this place of music education, and for that, they should be given all the credit they can be given.
The Colts legacy as an organization, about how the opportunities that the Colts organization has provided for generations of youth at this point is, you can't really quantify that. They've touched so many people's lives. They've saved people's lives. They've given kids direction over the course of time. You know, it started as a youth organization for Dubuque kids and the Dubuque surrounding area. It's become an international destination point for students all over the planet. To the members and the staff and the parents and the volunteers, directors, bus drivers, semi-drivers, sous vide salespeople, everyone who's ever either worn the uniform, been around the Corps in any sense, whether it was as a fan or within the organization, I just say thank you, because the opportunity as a performer to do what I got to do, there is no other place in the world that you can do that. At age 18, to tour around the country and perform night after night and get really, really close with the people that you're with, make lifelong friends, the opportunity to move forward professionally and to grow into an adult who understands how the world works. There's nowhere else that I could have learned those things as well as I was able to learn them with the Colts.
One word for the Colts legacy would be life-changing. Most everybody that's come through the Colts program at any level, whether it be a volunteer or a board member or a member or staff or bus driver, has been touched by everybody else here in a very significant way. A strong enough paradigm shift that a lot of people have a different approach to life than what they came in with. And it doesn't matter how long you spent here. Every year is a completely new experience. Every day is a new experience. But together we learn what it truly means to be excellent and to really be outstanding and to live with integrity and to live into our potential. And that's what we stand for. Over time, we've beat all but 5 corps in the activity at least once. But at no point have we ever been motivated to go out and beat anybody. Because number one, you can't control what the other corps do. It's not like football where if you knock the other guy down more, you're probably going to win. This is just about what can we do with what we are and what we can be, and are we going to be excellent every possible chance we have. And when you do that, then you get rewarded by extrinsic things like scores and whatever.
It's a lot easier to be in the air conditioning than it is to be out on the football field. It's a lot easier to stay home than it is to leave everything that you know and go off and try something new. But you just don't know what that next step in your life is going to be until you take it. And sometimes you got to jump off the cliff to find out what's at the bottom. It's everything you could hope for and more. So do it. Do it. Do it. Do it at least once. Do it 5 times. March 8 years. Do whatever you can, because once those opportunities are gone, they're gone forever.
Way to do it, guys. Take that momentum and let's accelerate through the week, all right?
I want you to go out there. I want you excited. I want you excited to perform. I want you to go out there and have the best run of the season. Make a statement.
I don't know if that's 20th or 12th, nor do I care. What I care about is you laid down the gauntlet tonight and said, bullshit, we're here. Don't forget about the little red team. We didn't go anywhere.
Overcoming things that you think are limitations.
Fight this fight every day.
The other thing it's got to do is compete. It's got to be really good. It's got to be creative.
You just came off a 71-day tour full of nothing but integrity. And you live that every day. You now have a new habit called success. Don't you dare get lazy.
And it's great. I am who I am because of the Colts and because of this experience.
Ultimately, a lot of these kids leave knowing that it's up to them to decide how good they're going to be in something. You know, you make the honor roll, and you're on the Renaissance Club, and you get the Blue Ribbon Club, and you get free movie passes and French fries. That's not what life's about. Life's about being great because it's the right thing to do. We rarely pat kids on the back for a good effort. We really just give them an opportunity to choose to be great. The instruction is powerful, it's positive reinforcement, it's an opportunity to get better every time with new information, but we're not going to make anybody do anything. It's because you choose to be great today. You're not guaranteed tomorrow, and you only get one chance at this particular time to do that particular phrase perfectly. So what are you going to do with it? But learning that it's all about me and my choices and what I'm going to become in life is because I choose to be really good at what I choose to do is why it's so life-changing.